Good morning and welcome to Wednesday's Maths. So we have done 2 lessons on the mean now, and today this is our last one. We are going to keep calculating and interpreting the mean as an average, and we're going to do a little bit of problem solving about the mean average as well. So the average is one value that sums up a group of values, and the mean. To work out the mean, we add all the numbers together and then we divide it by the amount of numbers. Okay, let's get started. Right, here is our discover. So today our setting looks like a pet shop and we have got 2 adults, and for some reason it looks like one of them wants to buy a baby snake. Ugh, not what I would be buying if I went into a pet shop, but there we go. Each to their own. Some people obviously love a snake, so good for them. So we're going to be looking at the length of baby corn snakes. And as you can see on the left hand side, it gives us some information about the different baby corn snakes. And then the lady in the pet shop is saying the mean length of these baby snakes is 20 centimetres. So today, it's all about problem solving. They've given us the mean length and they've given us some of the values, but there's a blue splodge covering up that last value. So what would that last value need to be to make the mean 20 centimetres? Okay, a bit of a tricky one today to get us started. So have a bit of a think. What do we normally do to work out the mean? So can we do that backwards? Okay, so normally we would add them all up and then we would divide them by the number of snakes, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our answer would be 20. So can we do the inverse? Can we do it the opposite? And then work out what our missing value must be. Right, have a go. And then we'll go through the answer. Right, answer time. This is a little bit tricky, but I think once I've explained it once, you'll start to get your head around it. So what we would do normally is we would add all the lengths of the baby snakes up, and then we would divide it by 5. Okay, so I'm going to add the lengths of the snakes up that we know so far. So if I add all these numbers up, I would get 85. So 85 plus this box, because we don't know how long the 5th snake is. Now, they have told us that the mean length is 20. So normally I would do whatever the sum is and I would divide it by 5 and my answer would be 20. So normally I would we'll give it a rectangle. Normally I would do the total. I would divide it by 5 and my answer would be 20. But I don't know this box here. So what am I going to do? Well, if I know that something divided by 5 is 20, I know that 20 times by 5, using the inverse, equals the total. So 20 times 5 is, hopefully you're telling me, that it's 100. So I know then that my total, before I then divide it by 5 to get 20 and get my mean, I know that my total is 100. So I know that all the lengths of the snakes need to add up to 100. Well, I know that the 4 lengths added up to 85. So what do I need to add to 85 to get to 100? Or I can do 100, take away 85. So this missing number here would be 15. So the missing length, the 5th snake, must be 15 centimetres long. Now let's check our answer. Let's see if that works. So if I add all of the lengths of the snakes up, I would get 100. And then I would do 100 divided by 5 because there's 5 snakes, and my answer would be 20 centimetres. Perfect. We've got it right. Well done. So just to show this using a bar model, I've just taken a picture of this for you to see. So if you know that there are 5 snakes and their mean length is 20, you can then work out quite easily that the total amount of the snakes, the length of the snakes altogether is 100 centimetres. And you know that that's really going to be shared out, and some snakes will be bigger and some snakes will be smaller, but you know that on average each snake is 20 centimetres and there's 5 snakes, so altogether the total would be 100 centimetres. And once you've worked that out, then you can work out the length of the snakes you've got so far, which is that top bar model. And then you can see, you just need to work out the difference. What's the difference between 85, which is what you know the snakes equal, and 100, which is what the snakes need to equal? Well, the answer is 15 centimetres. Okay, question B then is one more corn snake is born and the mean length increases by 1 centimetre. What is the length of the new snake? So let's get our facts together first of all. There's now no longer 5 snakes, there are now 6 snakes. The mean was 20, the mean has increased by 1 centimetre, so the mean is now 21 centimetres. Okay, see if you can use what we've already worked out to help us work this out. Have a go. Okay, this is a little bit tricky, but we can give this a really good go. So, I want to show you how they've drawn this as a bar model. Now, what they've done is, let's just look at this bit first of all. We know that with the first 5 snakes, we know the average is 20. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our 5 snakes that have an average of 20 centimetres. But now we are saying that the mean is 21 centimetres and that there are 6 snakes. So underneath I'm going to draw a new bar model, and this one is going to show that there are 6 snakes and each one is an average of 21 centimetres long. So just like we did before, what is the total then? What is the total? If we have 6 snakes of an average of 21, we're going to do 6 times 21, which is 126. So our total is 126. Now before this 6th snake, our total was 100. Now our total is 126. So what's the difference? How long must this new snake be? Well, this new snake, you would do 126, take away 100 is 26. So this new snake is actually the longest one because this new snake is 26 centimetres. Okay, well done if you got that right. Don't worry if you didn't. We'll keep going over this, okay? It is a little bit tricky, but keep going. Okay, let's have a go at the think together. So we've got the mean height of 6 towers is 4 blocks high. What is the height of the 6th tower? So if it's telling you the mean height of 6 towers is 4, you can look at that bar model along the bottom and think, what is that showing me? And to make that correct, what has the height of the 6th tower got to be? So we're kind of thinking the opposite to how we were thinking before. So if we know the mean height of 6 towers is 4, that means that we've got, and it will be shared out, but we can say we've got 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. We've got 6 lots of 4 because that's the mean, that's the average. If we shared it all out, there would be 6 lots of 4. 6 lots of 4 is 24. So altogether, the total has got to be 24. Well, at the minute, what's the total? So we've got 2 red, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if we add the white, 8, 9, 10, 11 when we add the green, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So far with the blocks that we've got, there we go. We've got 18 blocks or 18 cubes. But we know that to make the mean correct, we need 24. So what is this part worth then? Well, what's the difference between 18 and 24? It is 6. So the height of this tower here must be, obviously you would do it with a ruler, must be 6 bricks high. Right, let's have a look at number 2. So this time we're back to the snakes. So the mean weight of these adult snakes is 1.5 kilograms. What is the weight of the last snake? So we've got 4 snakes, and if we're saying that the average of those snakes is 1.5 kilograms, how many lots of 1.5 have we got? What is our total? So then what must the missing snake weight be? Have a go. Right, let's have a look then. So we know that we've got 1.1, add 1.7, add 2.1, add the missing snake is going to equal the total. And we work out the total by having the mean average, which is 1.5, times the amount of snakes, which would be 4. So 1.5 times 4 would be 6 kilograms. So all the snakes all together are going to equal 6 kilograms. If we add up the weights of the snakes that we know, they add up to 4.9 kilograms. So 4.9 add the missing snake kilogram is going to equal 6 kilograms. So what goes in that missing box? Well, if we do 6 take away 4.9, we would work out that the missing box must equal 1.1 kilograms. Really well done if you got that right. Okay, it is workbook time, and today we are on page 96. Right, have a go at number 1 and number 2, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, I've worked this out and then I've tried to draw it in a way that will hopefully help you out. If it doesn't, I apologise. I know it's not the neatest, but it's the only way I can think to draw this. So we've started off with these 3 towers, a 3, a 6 and a 4. And we want it so that there are 4 towers and each tower is 5 high. The mean is 5. So if I want the mean to be 5, this tower needs to be 5 tall because these ones are shorter. This tower here needs 2 more bricks to make an average of 5, to make it have 5 blocks. This tower here needs to lose 1 block, so it's got 5, and this tower needs to gain 1 block so that it's 5. So what I've done is I've said, right, I'm going to take this block off here, this cube off here, and it's going to go here. So now these 2 would both have an average of 5. I need this tower to have 5 cubes, but then I also need it to have these 2 cubes to go over there. So this tower needs to have 7 cubes. And that's your answer. Now I'm going to show you the mathematical way as to why. Well, you know that you've got 13 cubes at the minute. So here's my 13 cubes. And you need to add the 4th tower. We don't know how many cubes are in this 4th tower yet. So 13 add blank, add something. And we know that if the mean is 5 and there's 4 towers, then we're going to do 5 times 4. So 13 add something is going to equal 20 because on average, we know there's 5 cubes in each tower, which means there's 20 cubes all together. So 13 add something is 20. 20 take away 13 would be 7. So this tower here must have 7 cubes. I hope that made sense with the drawing as well. Right, let's have a look at this next one. So again, we still need to work out how many cubes would be in this tower, but this time it would be a 5th tower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count up my cubes. So altogether, I've got 21 cubes plus this missing amount of cubes for the 5th tower. Now, to work out the total, I know that there is 5 towers and each one has got an average, well, it should have an average of 5 cubes. So 5 times 5 is 25. So all together, there needs to be 25 cubes as the total. So 21 add something is 25. 25 take away 21 would be 4. So this tower here, I'll draw it quickly, should have 4 cubes. Right, let's see if this works then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this can lose 1 cube and add it over there. This needs to lose a cube and add it over there. This is only 4, so this needs a cube. So we'll take one of those. And then this one's only 4, so we need to take another one of these cubes and I got it on there. And now all of the towers should have 5 cubes. So it's worked. Well done. Okay then, I actually think this second one's actually easier. And I think the way it's drawn out, I think is easier for you to understand. So the mean number of pets the children have is 4. How many pets does Emma have? Well, we've got 4 children and the mean number of pets is 4. So we've got 4 lots of 4. on average, which would make 16. So there's 16 pets all together. And if we shared it out equally between the 4 children, they would have 4 pets each. But obviously that's not actually what they've got. So the total is 16, and we know that Bella's got 2. Andy's got an awful lot. Andy's got 12. Danny's got 1. So then how many has Emma got? Well, the total is 16. So we need to add these up. So 2 add 12 is 14, add 1 is 15. So how many pets must Emma have so that we get the total correct? Well, Emma must have 1 pet. So that all together, there are 16 pets. 16 divided by 4 would be 4. The average would be 4. Well done. Lovely. Right, let's have a go at 3, 4 and 5. Have a go, and then we'll go through the answers. Right then, let's get started. So, for number 3, 4 stalls collect money at a cake sale. The mean amount collected is £1.50. So, there are 4 groups. If the mean of each one is £1.50, we need to do £1.50 times 4, which is £7. Then we need to know how much we've got in total altogether. So at the minute in total, we've got £4.50. So what must this group have collected then? What's the difference between £4.50 and £7? £2.50. Next one then. This one was nice and easy. So they're telling you that the mean is 2.5. So if there's 4 cards, 2.5 times 4 is 10. So the total needs to equal 10. Add up what we've got already. 2 add 3 add 3, which is 8. What's the difference between 8 and 10? What must the missing card value be? It must be 2. Right, this one then. So same again, the mean is 2.5, but this time we've got 5 cards. So 2.5 times 5 is 12.5. So the total is 12.5. So far, our total is 8. So what's the difference? 12.5 take away 8 is 4.5. Now, this is where this one is a little bit different. So these 2 cards here, their total has to equal 4.5. But how you do that is up to you. So you could have 0 and 4.5. You could have 2 and 2.5. You could have 1 and 3.5. There's loads of different combinations. As long as your 2 cards add up to 4.5, you get it correct. Well done. Okay, for this last one then, you actually needed to remember your conversions for milliliters and litres and your scale work as well. So well done if you got it right. This is bringing in a lot of skills that we've used previously. Okay, so let's work out how much is, in fact, tell you what, first of all, let's work out what the total's going to be. So the mean volume is 1/4 of a litre and there are 5 jugs. So you need to do 5 times 1/4 of a litre. Now, I would do this personally by turning 1/4 of a litre. Well, a litre is 1,000 millilitres. So 1 litre, wrong way around. 1 litre is 1,000 milliliters. So 1/4 of a litre, divide it by 4, so divide it by 4. 1,000 divided by 4 is 250 millilitres. So if I want to do 5 lots of 1/4, I need to do 5 times 250, which would be 1,250 millilitres. Don't forget my units. So let's see what we've got all together then at the moment without the missing ones. So first things first, we need to work out the scale. So from 0 to 500, the whole is worth 500. There are 10 intervals, so we do 500 divided by 10 is 50. So each one of these little intervals is 50. So I've drawn a longer line where it's 100. So 100, 200, 300, 350 millilitres. This one's obviously empty at the moment. This one, from 0 to 1 litre, it is worth 1 litre for the whole, or 1,000 millilitres. Divided it by 10, each one's worth 100 millilitres. This one is halfway, so it's going to be 150 millilitres. This one's the same scale, so 100, 200 millilitres. So I'm going to add up 350, add 100, add 200 millilitres, which means altogether at the moment, I've got 700 millilitres. What's the difference then between what we've got at the minute and the total? it would be 550 millilitres. So again, it's up to you how you split that 550 millilitres between B and E. You could have nothing in B and 550 in E, or 550 in B. Well, actually, no, you couldn't, because you couldn't have that scale. So you could have 500 in B and 50 in E. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as both of them together add up to 550 millilitres. Lovely. So last little bit then, and again, as ever, you don't have to do the challenge. It's there if you would like to do it. So pause video, have a go. Right, for the challenge then, there's loads of different answers that you can have for this. So for the first one, you should either have had 6 and 4 or 2 and 8. So you could have had 6 and 4 or 2 and 8, because they would have to add up to 10. Right, for the second one then, again, your answers are going to vary, but they must all add up to 15. So for example, you could have 5 add 5 add 5, 3 add 5 add 7, 1 and 5 and 9, or 1, 3 and 11 in any order. For the third one then, you needed to find a set of 4 numbers, and the difference between the greatest and the smallest is 10. So your answers are going to vary, but you're probably going to have the smallest as 10 and the biggest, no, wrong around, the smallest as 0 and the biggest as 10, or the smallest as 1 and the biggest as 11. So for example, you could have had 0, 2, 4 and 10. Or you could have had something like 1, 2, 2 and 11. But like I say, they will vary. And then for the last one then, a set of numbers that are not whole, but the mean is a whole number. So for example, there's loads you could have had for this. You could have had 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 and 5.5. So if you've got a half, that makes it quite easy, because 2 numbers with a half would therefore make a whole. And then for your reflection then, again, there's lots and lots of different answers, but an easy method to do it is to find 2 cards that equal 15 or 4 cards that would equal 30. Right, well done for today. We will see you tomorrow.